ourselves into this one. It's Border again as we go into it for, I think, like the 6th or 7th time this week, something like that.
Actually, if we're running up the numbers, it is the 4th time Border has been played, which now means
feels like way more than that.
It does feel like more, but it is the #1 most played map in the NAL now, as it was tied with Oregon, both at 3 before this map. Now Border will be at 4.
That is 1/3 of the game so far if we include this one.
You know, when you say it like that, it seems like a lot, actually.
So Vance coming in makes sense so far. Ying, as we saw, Ying incredibly impactful in the last Border match we had played, which actually involved M80. So once again, coming in for them. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. This isn't actually a no operator ban, as they just said in chat. That no operator ban, it means Brava. That's being done, I believe, due to a current bug in the game, just so we're trying to skirt around that. But Brava is banned out, is what that means right there.
I mean, really, I'd be angry if I was Foxy right now. I mean, you have made such a big single effort to bring Brava into the league, and M80 bans it against you? I mean, come on.
To be fair, pretty targeted ban, yeah, considering how much they used it.
The disrespect here is, they just banned Maestro?
Ooh, they did. Why, though?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, EOIs can be good. Did they just...
But like,
did they just target ban Dream?
I think so. Man, to be fair, he was popping off when they were on this map, and when he specifically was on that operator. So, yes.
When's the last time have you seen a Maestro ban in a competitive Rainbow Six Siege map?
I think I saw like one at a major sometime in the last year, but that's like the only time I've seen it in recent history.
I have not seen a Maestro ban in a little bit. Either way, it definitely is a target ban against Dream, who, if you guys saw yesterday, was actually, I believe, our MVP on Border, as on, well, funny enough, on ASAN, if I can read this correctly, Maestro went 14-4, the 100% cost as well. So they will be target banning Dream's favorite defensive operator, and right now he will instead picking up that I don't think any of us have seen Dream play in a long time. He's gone from Maestro to Alibi, about as large a gap as you can cross in the roles associated with those ops.
Massive role shift, and to be fair, a massive bit of confidence from the leadership on Oxygen now to let Dream go that route, considering the Maestro has been banned out. They have full confidence, it seems, that he's going to bring a similar performance to what he brought out yesterday, and why not with the way he played things on yesterday's map. Single-handedly dominated on multiple rounds, so let's let him loose on the road and see what he can bring out.
I'm ready. M80 have not known what they've done. Dream's about to drop 24 kills. He's going to break the kill record.
I was about to say, he's about to break the record in this one now.
This is it.
He's been unleashed.
Hold on your seats, folks. We're about to enter light speed. Dream's holding in Visa very aggressively, so he's not at all baiting us with this pick. He's not sitting inside his sight, but he is sitting inside a Visa and Passport, as I just mentioned. There are some players from M80 looking to enter from jail, but both the Alibi down below and the Oryx up above will try to hold down this western part of the map. One will start to enter. Dream's been droned. One peeks and takes the fight, but Dream only suffers a little bit of HP. He'll be able to fall off, but M80 not trying to waste much time before they secure this part of the map.
Dream quickly trying to rotate back around, not able to make impact over inside of Passport, but at the same time, still going to try to do it from the front door flank. Sweater as well has the right timing on opening these top downs, just unfortunately not able to find the angle when he goes for the full commitment onto the spray. Dream as well, a little bit more conserved now as he tries to make an aggressive bid and unfortunately loses a considerable amount of HP. So restrains himself a little bit more here. That's going to allow for M80 to move in and start to at least begin to take map control.
And they've acquired some of that first floor control, which is a very good angle to hold when attacking tellers. Often we'll see teams start on the east stairs and then go in for the execute and the plant through that single panel in tellers, and then that's held by an angle in Passport to make sure that the attack can't pull up. But now that M80 have that bit of control, that angle is not available to them, but two people fall at the exact same time. Both Dream and Newers getting on the board. Kino does fight back, but Spoit and Iconic, the two new pickups, and some of the best players that M80 has to offer, both cut down.
Rest of operators down with it. Thankfully, the majority of utility stays alive. The Flores joins the phone calls, of course, as you just heard, as well as the hard breach, still in the cards for M80 if they need to use any one of them. Of course, the final phone call is now going out, so that is dead, but it's useful here for Kino to isolate out Sweater and take him down. Second kill on the round as he's found both of them so far for M80 here to re-equalize it yet again, down to a 3v3, but it goes all calm for a moment past that point here. Newers Trying to justify a big swing from the east main stairs descent. He'll be able to group up with his teammates from this one as well. Get back over towards the site. Try to stem the tide for the rest of the execute. Both players peek into that one there. And unfortunately, both are going to end up whiffing, so they'll give respect to each other back away front. But Kino, a third kill now as he's single-handedly taking command of the site until finally Yaga puts a stop to it and downs him.
Newers and Yaga, one down below. One was up above previously, but now joined him in courtyard. They got 15 seconds, only 15 needed to hold down the fort. Gomez hops down, tries to Batista bomb the Frost, but Newers, he is wiser. He knows what's going on, but DS, the clutch minister, can he make 5 seconds work to get 2 quick kills? No, unfortunately. OXG still managed to close out the round despite the inhuman efforts of Kino to bring that back to equilibrium.
Kino trying so hard to make it work, just brute forcing his way through vents in order to try and make that play happen, and picks up a third kill even on his way into the actual site towards the back of bathroom, but couldn't take it past that point. Had no support throughout the entirety of picking up those 3 kills, and finally that came back to bite him when a fourth duel was thrust upon him from Yaga. Things fell apart, unfortunately, pretty quickly after that as Oxygen continued to maintain full control, though manpower was kept very close between the two teams throughout the entirety of the round.
Until his bathroom done early as well. One that side, definitely not on the same level as, say, like going to kitchen and dining instead of dorms like we saw some teams do yesterday on Oregon, but still a site that now that you've done it away with, now you can go to Armory, which tends to be the site that goes the way of the defense more, but is also a site that the attack is very, very accustomed to attacking because of how popular its pick rate is. OXG aren't really switching things up too much, but of course with the Maestro and the Miravan, that leaves Azami, Valkyrie, and Solus up. Those 3 most ban-defending operators all in the hands of OXG. Now, they're not bringing the Solus, but they are bringing that Azami and the Valkyrie. The former will likely hold on to CCTV for as long as he can, but aided by some of those black eye cameras to catch anybody maybe pushing in from break. If that's what they're going for, and Yaga does move over to CCTV, that could be a difficult hold for M80 to pierce.
M80 not making a huge number of change-ups to their own lineup as well, bringing exactly what you'd expect to find for this type of upstairs clear. Yaga as well, going all the way out for the barbed wire to throw that on the ground. Gives him the audio cue when players are going to start lurking around the corner. May give him a capability to try and go for an aggressive swing if he has the capability to go for it as well. But we'll see if he'll be that bold in a few moments here once we get M80 on position, ready to start clearing things out. Foxy as well with some good spot and early intel that'll come up from that can. That'll continue to bleed out throughout the rest of this round here. Going to see any early control being stolen away from MA. They are heavily emphasizing the drone presence here, as we can see at least 2 to 3 of them still buzzing around about 45 seconds into the round. It's Iconic looking to make the first big play, but never mind. It'll be Spoit from East Main that actually connects and finds Newers first off here to eliminate the Frost.
Very big pick for M80 early on. That was the player playing aggressively inside of Office, looking into East Stairs. So while they don't have the entire control of Office and Archives, they already have a player playing very aggressively cut off the front line. Foxy now cut down as well. It's actually CCTV still holding on for the defense, and Yaga and Sweater both not giving up the fight whatsoever. A 2-man hold in CCTV. We've got Yaga with the Kibas, able to hold things down.
Iconic has this drone sitting in CCTV, so they actually have intel on both players that are inside of there right now, so he's going to try to use this from his nade. Let's see, is the intel still accurate? Yes, it is! 6-1 onto Yaga. The drone, like I said, is at a high point too, so it should be able to spot out Sweater also, and I think he realizes this now. He's going to start to back away, and it's a good thing that he did, as that transition over the wall just saved his life.
And now with that pocket reinforcement, the fountain position is safe. Dream tries to get aggressive, but he loses the fight to Gomez. The damage done to Sweater earlier on now becomes that much more impactful. He's got a clutch of 1v3. Last EE1D goes out, will freeze him in position, but now it's elapsed, and now he's got to win these fights. Gomez will be the easiest. They're both on low HP, but the other two, that's what it will be difficult. Iconic spotted him. Sweater will have to fall off. Moves back into Fountain, but nobody's there. He's chasing ghosts on the east side of the map and giving up the bomb site, maybe to play for retake. Still got 50 seconds left. There are 2 players covering Gomez. He puts down this bomb. Something's got to give. Sweater's got to win a fight. He'll activate the glasses, but there's nothing to blind him. Only a gunfight he needs to win, but he smokes DS off the metal angle. That's 1 full HP player down. Surely Iconic will fall as well. All you have to do is click for the head, and it's wraps for M80. But he's moved out to the vent balcony position. Such a powerful angle on the window. Iconic can easily burn the time here, and he still has Gomez, who can play off his contact. This is a losing battle for Sweater. He'll fire some shots, but the time is dwindling down. He's got to go in for the defuse, try to bait something. Not even enough time to jump out the window. It'd have to be a miraculous flick to win out this one, but instead, Gomez, with a couple bullets, gets M80 their first attack.
M80, unfortunately, with far too much control instead of that 1v3 post plant. Trying to play it out so slowly for the retake allows those final two players to establish positioning on the outside of the building where it's nigh impossible to actually get that counter defuse at that point. So a nice win to respond to things on round number 1, coming in from M80. All starts with that early pick that we see from Spoit as well. Takes out Newers, and then Iconic's nice play, accompanied by the very sneaky drone position, working its way into the CCTV spot up on top, is able to take them down.
With Armory done and dusted, a win for the attack. Defense will opt not to go back to it, at least for the time being. And if my eyes do not deceive me, no, it'll be vents. So actually we'll try downstairs as well. No Azami this time, but they will keep the Valkyrie. Bring those black eye cameras alongside a BP in sight to make sure that they can't just walk into vents and take that control for free. But given this is Border, and well, it is the most played map in the NAL so far, I think we all have an idea at this point what Oxygen are going to do. The pieces might be different, but a lot of the positions are the same. We'd expect Sweater to play off site, maybe even bring that deployable shield with him. He's already deployed it. Not entirely sure where it is, but either way, with that aid of the black eyes off site, the Scorpion ready to fight anybody that moves into our office, archives, armory. Oxygen will try to hold on to that top floor, and of course with these vertical angles, deny anybody from moving into the site.
So we're going to get a little bit more practice in terms of correcting what went wrong on the previous hold here, specifically on the inside of the site positions, but it's obviously a secondary objective this time, more to waste time rather than to try and preserve their own lives and win condition on the round. Sweater quite obviously leaned out heavily and aggressively here, but not aligning with anything in the opening few seconds. Another drone sitting above him. I believe it does have vision onto him, but I think he also just heard it, so he's aware of the fact that it's up there now. Play things out a bit more carefully, and the drone itself just jumped down, gave itself away. We'll be able to take that one down, but of course they're aware of the fact that he has hard committed himself to the inside of this one, and he'll be keeping solid watch for another one in a few seconds.
Gotta make sure that OXG has somebody in Fountain, though, because Sweater playing this aggressively, he could easily be pinched by M80 from the printer window and from East Stairs. He's got Dream down below who can watch that hatch, but right now, a little bit far away, a little bit spread out between these OXG roamers, specifically Sweater, as the other two, Yaga and I believe the other one being Foxay on that top floor, they are playing fairly close together. EE1D goes out, the first of many. No, that's Yaga and Newers up above. Foxay instead all the way in jail, but one catches them completely off guard. Gomez creeping on in. Now they'll have the cameras to watch OXG's very own position. And if M80 want to clear out this top floor still, they've got plenty of time and a man advantage as well.
Yaga full commitment of his magazine there to try and fend off the pressure from the window side and still nearly loses his life on the fallback here. Sweater trying to duke it out against the Yana that's being played by Spoit currently over on M80. While at the same time, still maintaining an extended position, wasting out the time bank overall from the attacker. Spoit realizes this, so he continues his crusade ever forward now, has the opening, and good response from Sweater, immediately gets out of dodge here. He's wasted plenty of time, doesn't need to stick around here anymore, and will finally give up that second floor positioning.
Foxy might have gone, but the Roman that top floor has played about as well as it could. Maybe they probably fell back a little bit too soon, but only because Foxy was gone. Their hand was forced. Now Spoit forces the issue, presses it, 2 bodies fall. Yaga picks up 1, but right now it's all singing M80. Spoit might be gone, but M80 take the round. 2 in a row for the attack.
Just nowhere near enough presence, and of course success on the upstairs hold. Like you said, gave it up just a little bit too early. If they were able to waste out a few more seconds there and force the issue for M80 to go for the execute downstairs, it would have left the defense in a much better spot, but does not end up transpiring. And M80 are absolutely aces with the way that they're able to execute from those top-down angles as well. Never really need to fully commit themselves to the site as Auction give themselves away on those vertical angles and give M80 a very straightforward round to take the lead.
And I like their decision to go back to vents here. I do think if maybe we have Foxay or really anybody playing inside of Passport, play a little bit more back, don't hold on to that as long as they did. I think that's still a very solid defense because Sweater was able to hold on. Well, Sweater, Yaga, and Newers on that top floor were able to hold on for quite a long time and only had to rotate back in about 1 minute 10 seconds because M80 were starting to push in and Foxay was down. They had to conserve the manpower they had remaining. But if we see that same hold even with different operators, but we see maybe the Valkyrie play underneath inside of the site to go for the C4 and aid maybe Sweater playing in office or aid the people playing inside of Armory, I think this can still be a very solid setup.
Well, let's see now as Oxygen go for attempt number 2 on this site. More change-ups as well. Sweater most notably bringing the Legion into the fold for this one. And the Bandit potentially fending off some of that more direct action to come in from M80. No repicks though for the M80 side of things. They feel the rotation they brought in on the previous round is pretty much flawless. Pretty much was. So they'll do the same exact thing yet again. The repicks will be shown because of that one. OXG, just a few final set pieces to deploy towards here. Looking to rotate to go into CCTV. It looks like it's just going to be this one lone player, Yaga, committing himself into the depths of that one, but no, actually, just a cam setup, apparently, to turn tail and head back, and so far, setup working out well. Sweater with a dash up through East Main, gets one kill. Possibility for a second, but he was just droned out. That's going to make him panic a little bit, fall back. Will continue to be the case here as a second drone follows that first one up.
He certainly made Iconic skittish. The Ash is chasing around with a drone. Already put to 50 HP as well. Oh, just barely sees one. Creeping around the 90 hallway. That was Newers, but now the Bandit is completely backed off. Unfortunately for M80, they will take the L in the early round. Not only losing Split, never mind. I should not have rooted against the Batman right there. Hops over the balcony, completely decimates Sweater. Not at all stalled out by that loss of their primary entry like I thought they might be.
Rest of M80 continuing to wait for another opportunity to frag things out. Now they hold an even turf against the OXG roster. Newers as well, lots of pressure being built up against him due to the office take, which has already transpired from the POV of M80. Away from that though, no confidence to make things push themselves forward for our attackers just as of yet, but Newers scared enough to be forced back downstairs. Toxic Babe is going to take his place in form of delay here.
But this rotate's still very good. He can still apply pressure from this position. He's got the C4 from below, and Yaga is still doing work inside of CCTV. He's rotated over and cut down Iconic. Even though Oxygen have seemingly ceded physical presence inside of Armory, Yaga can rotate back, bolster it, and with these C4s, still deal damage to Oxygen if they can.
Nice rotate from Yaga, gets himself back onto the inside of Armory and picks up another frag against Kino. Diaz and Gomez are all that remains here now. Diaz still stuck in Archives. Gomez, though, walks right in. Thankfully, there's a trade angle from Dream. Just wasn't peaked at that opportunity, so it causes the death of another teammate. Diaz now left alone, though. Like we said, he'd already been trapped out. Forces the issue up towards Beepers. Nice pre-fire to finally knock out Yaga. So he's been constantly going back and forth between CCTV and the depths of Armory due to the fact that M80 could not afford to establish Overwatch there. Diaz still a long road to recover this situation. Thankfully, a decent amount of time to make it work. Dream as well as Newers now playing it together. The cross established, but as well the pellets sung out. Oh, but the pre-fire again from Diaz gets kill number 2. It's down to a 1v1. He still has 30 seconds to make this play as well, but you'll note as we take a look at him, no case in hand currently. He's playing this entirely for the frags right now. Knows Newers is playing it to the left position earlier, but has not been able to spot if he's rotated since then. Trying to move around, trying to force him out, but no, has the wrong read on it. So Newers shuts it down in the 1v1 instead.
Excellent play by Yaga in that round, not only holding down CCTV, but contesting pretty much every area outside of the map beyond the immediate vicinity of CCTV. And again, that hold from Oxygen, now that we don't have somebody losing their life early on, but also Sweater getting aggressive on East Stairs, the foundation was there, and even the structure on top of it was there, but with just a few individual adjustments and a very nice opening pick by Sweater. Oxygen take their second defense on border. They've now managed to win tellers as well, which I believe the ladder site will now be unlocked if they want to go for it. Could we try Armory again, though? And that is actually what they'll do. Even though OXG have not won this site yet, they'll try it a second time.
See if they can finally lock things in. This will be more than likely one of their last attempts up here. Just 2 rounds to go until the halftime switch. Still feeling all right about themselves. Very, very close to a clutch inside of that previous one. Just did not end up panning out as OXG holds the line inside for the 1v3 there. The final member, Newer, is able to pick up the clutch for them instead. Let's get minimal changes coming into the overall lineup for this next attempt to hold things out. Still relying on the Legion as well as the Oryx and a Zombie. Do most of the utility work here for them. Just the heavy lifting on the early roam as well.
One thing I'd like to see from M80 to try and deal with this roaming setup, I'd like to see Iconic get a little bit more plays. 3 and 2 so far, so not at all costing or doing bad even, but definitely he's got the energy. We saw how he brought the man count back in that previous round by vaulting over East Stairs, but I want to see M80 not just try to clear this with utility, which is the traditional way, and if they do it, you know, hats off to them, good job, but I want to see them engage with the firepower and use the gunplay that we know that they have and completely dominate Oxygen in this early round to make this a decisive lead if they're able to win out this attack. Of course, it's the same CCTV setup that we've seen before. One player playing around Break and Yog on that Azami playing on the circle desk, but with Sweater on low HP and Iconic below, this could be what gets M80 their first pick.
Sweater continuing to wait this out now. Very low HP, however, so cannot I think as aggressively as he would like to. Has to rotate back out towards 90, get himself into safer harbors. That's exactly what he's going to be doing by positioning himself in the hallway. M80 continue to play things forward now as a result of clearing him out and forcing him back. No kill to claim just yet. They can follow that through very, very shortly here as they are attempting to work an opening onto the trip wall to work their way into office as well. No, nades a little bit too far out there. If it was an attempt to take out the mute jammers, there we go. Second one follows it through, and okay, M80. Not sure what went on there, but Spoit and Iconic more than likely with an unfortunately timed misalignment leads to the outright elimination of Iconic here. They will lose the first player in this round.
To spin that as a positive, that sounded like a montage-worthy shot, but certainly a montage-worthy play from Yaga. They've got that barbed around the corner to make sure that no attacker creeps up on him. Well, Yaga, he doesn't like taking chances. He doesn't like letting things go up to chance. He'll take the fight himself, and so will Newers. Two heads fall to the floor as Kino and Spoit are no longer members of this mortal plane. Foxe seals the deal for OXG and completely shut out M80 from this round.
M80, some solid results earlier on inside of the half, but now moving into the tail end of it, we're going to see them start to struggle a bit as OXG finally takes that lead away 3-2, but it's still solid potential for M80 to come back here, tie us up at 3-3, which would be an overall positive for them at the end of the half. Oxygen, at the same time, looking to lock in a solid 4-2, exactly the scoreline they would look to find on a map like this.
Also, to bring this up as we move into round number 6, something we have not talked about much up until this point. We saw M80 play border earlier, and Warden was banned, and Ying was left up, and M80 used it to great success on their attacking half, landing themselves a 4-2. Now, OXG have banned Ying, and the attacks, they've not looked bad from M80, but they've certainly looked a lot less decisive, haven't they? They've had a lot of good ideas, including M80 using Iconic on that Nook, not to creep up stairways, but to creep into positions unnoticed and go for nades from below. A really good and really inventive way to use that Nook against OXG. But without that Ying so far, M80 have not really had something to point to, have not really had, whether it be an op or a player or something like that, that's really said that is what's winning them these rounds. They've looked good, but without that Ying, there's not one particular thing that is putting them over OXG, who are playing extremely well.
So M80 with quite a few repicks coming into this one. We're going to see 4 out of 5 of them end up changing their operator choices. Spoit is the only one that stays in place on the Yana. Let's see if this yields results for the rest of the team. OXG continuing to wait things out now. M80 moving their way forward for the first bit of aggression. Start pushing things in. Oh no, the opening being made there by Sweater, but it's a bit premature, unfortunately, as he goes for it. Still gives him the extra audio cue. His opponent is going to try to toy with him on the outside of it, but he's actually ditched the catwalk entirely there, trying to fall back deeper into the depths of office, just chucking away one of those goo mines in the process.
This is the key part of the map you have to hold anyway, so he'll rotate over, bolster the hold already being, well, held by the Oryx. Newers, who's certainly having a much better game so far than he has over the past, well, the past day, but the past couple maps as well that he played on day one. Spoit with a hot drone in front of him does find Newers. I spoke too soon, unfortunately, but the Oryx is still positive. Now 5-3 instead of 5-2, but Spoit tacks another entry duel victory into his cap over the past 2 days, something he has done quite well on so far inside of the NAL.
And the rest of Oxygen still trying to look for a way to battle back for this control, and it's very realistic that they will find it as well. Keep in mind, this is just a partial extension for OXG at this point here. M80 is fighting very, very hard to try and maintain a control for themselves.
One thing to note real quick, now 3 drones only for M80, and it is 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the round. They have that opening pick, and that can often compensate for some losses in the drone utility, but as you said, only 2 now. If M80 start to lose this man advantage, the ability and the intel at their disposal to claw it back will decrease and decrease. OXG have predominantly fallen back to the site. All 4 remaining players down there, and as Diaz gets a kill, that opportunity for OXG to even things up, it's slowly dripping away. M80 might not have drones, but if OXG still lose these fights, it's not going to matter.
Seems like the intel they found from those drones is still good to some degree as well. One of them rolling out now to try and see what the site looks like. Only going to have a bit of a preview of this one as they open up a secondary hatch to work their way into vent down below and potentially make a push from that direction as well. 1 minute to make this play, but at the same time, M80 are moving on right along schedule here. A 3rd kill now localized by Kino to eliminate Foxe, and the defense pretty much in shambles for OXG, being reduced to only 2 players. M80, it's really just up to you in terms of when you want to strike and try to use out that 1 remaining drone to find the position of these final 2 players. There it goes. Darting past, has already located Dream as he gets spotted by it. Diaz immediately strikes as well. Kino already well on his way to the plant, but it's not even needed. Spoit just goes crazy. Let's see this one on replay real quick as he gets a nice little spin around here to pick up this kill. A 180 flick to find it. He shuts things down and puts M80 in good positioning here, the tail end of the half, locking up the tie at a 3-3 scoreline.
Just as I labeled M80's attacks good but not great, they completely mullered them. the way I wanted them to earlier on in the game. A flawless round to end things off, and now a 3-3 half as well. And the ironic part about all that is they had one drone by the end of that execute, and that one drone is what spotted Dream holding the angle inside a passport that got that second to last kill for M80. So overall, extremely good play between both teams on the attack and the defenses. Not much really to complain about on the side of OXG or M80. Now this is where things get fun, because the Solus was left up, but OXG instead favored the Azami and the Valk combo. But for round number 7, it's Azami who's dropped, and Iconic on the Solus, who will join Gomez on the Valkyrie.
Just reminding you guys one more time, at halftime as well, I know that you are all seeing a no operator ban there at the top left. That is technically true and technically not true at the same time. While yes, in the actual ban phase it was a no operator ban, it represents a Brava ban in this situation because we do have a bug right now, so we're trying to avoid that.
10 seconds left.
I like avoiding bugs.
Yeah, same. So
me personally.
That's the solution we have found for this matchup here. So just in case anybody was curious, that is a Brava ban.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Prep phase now done. Round number 7. Both teams even. What else, John, could we want for the last match we cast of the day? An even game between two extremely talented teams. How are they going to adapt in the Honestly, yeah. Pretty good one overall. But now, M80, they're running things how we'd expect. Somebody inside of CCTV, the Solus, with no Azami on the board in this round. You'll look to see whether people are droning him out, make sure the intel is not being found and that he can hold on to this position safely. Kino bolstering his position down below with that C4. There's a lot of flexibility for M80 right now with that rotate hole, that common rotate hole, admittedly inside of 90. Iconic is not just keeping himself around that circle desk. He'll move in and out of that spot to try to contest wherever Oxygen are attacking from, which at the moment, to note, is not really around CCTV, as on this part of the map, it seems quite quiet.
Gomez goes adventuring because of that one. A few bits of pre-fire, trying to see if he can get the players by passport on timing alone. A bit premature, unfortunately, as Oxygen seems to be favoring some pressure over here towards the main doorway. And of course, on the west main rappel instead. Already looking to try and throw some pressure, actually very early in through this doorway. We'll have to wait and see if they decide to fully go for this here. This would be incredibly bold, but I doubt it, especially with, once again, Kino firing out that first shot and knocking out Sweater here. That is going to put Oxygen already on the back foot at the start of this first round of the second half.
Got that skeleton key. The vert would be a little bit harder to get, but they brought some redundancy. Yager's got that sledgehammer and those nades as well, so the destruction might not be as quick, might not be as chaotic, but he's still got the ability to do it and the nades to make it easier, but it doesn't even matter. They found an opening. Guess what it is? No one's home. It's empty. All of M80 have vacated the site, and a C4 to create rotate will not stop the bomb from going down.
Nicely done from Oxygen, find an opening opportunity and taking full advantage upon it. Kino as well just goes walking outside. Yaga and another member of Oxygen more than ready to shut that one down. So once again, OXG now in control of this situation with the 2 trades they've found since putting the plant down onto the ground. And look at this, pure post-plant angles are just not looking good at the moment for M80. They're gonna have to hop out no matter what they do, and that's a losing equation no matter which way you try to swing it. Diaz trying to force players out, but it's just not gonna work as OXG, save for that one pickup from Gomez, have a flawless round once they get the plant down.
Seems like for a lot of the round that OXG aren't doing much, but it all was meant to gather intel, to find where every single player of M80 was, and once they realized that the only player even on the same floor of the bomb site was all the way in bathroom on the opposite side of the map from ventilation. And that's why you love teams at this level, because they didn't say, oh, well, there's a roam, we have to clear that. Oh, there's a player inside a passport, we have to clear that. We got to go for it. And they even tried to, and they died. But you know what they realized? If we can just walk in and plant, it doesn't really matter if they got 8,000 people on the top floor holding vertical angles. We just have to catch them off guard. And for 7 seconds, that's all we need. Just keep them at bay. We can get the bomb down and play our post plant. So OXG will start out their half with a win on the attack. And M80, who went to vents as their first site, will completely abandon it, at least for the short term. Hop up to Armory instead.
Not feeling the retry on it. So OXG find a direct counter to their upstairs hole. Just sneak the plant in. Go directly back outside to hold all of your post-plant angles from there, making the upstairs hold a bit of a non-issue for the most part. Once that plant had gone down. For M80, this will change up a bit. They'll head upstairs instead for this hold now. See if they can find better footing on the go-to site for most teams on defensive border.
Change up the site and also change up the operators. They had the Valk Solus combo last round, but this time, maybe because CC is a little bit more important to hold on the Armory bomb site, Iconic will go to the Azami instead to use those Kiba barriers to hold down Circle Desk. He'll have some support from DS Lucas, likely going to play aggressive on Armory wall to contest that balcony. That would give access to Iconic's window looking into CCTV. Spoit getting a little bit aggressive, waiting to see if anybody gets, well, aggressive on that very window he's looking at, but instead he'll back off for the time being. What is this? We have a three-man hold around CCTV in break room. An exceptional amount of resources placed by M80 over on this part of the map, and if OXG play into it, their shots have got to land because M80 have a lot of bodies to play trades.
Well, M80 once again, more than ready for the fight, it seems. It's on Oxygen now to have the presence to push this forward. In the face of M80. Kino getting spotted on his fallback, more than likely by the drone that was sitting up on top of the skylight here. Gomez moves back into it, though. Needs to be aware of that intel already being gained. Nice flank established here for Spoit, though. Finishes things off against Sweater and puts the members of Oxygen down to start off the round. But that was how the last round also got started. Dream with the trade at a heavy cost to his own personal HP, but he makes it out alive, plays conservatively past that point. Unfortunately, does not get the full confirmation onto Spoit. But he's in a very peculiar position, so more than likely still going to be fully dead in just a few seconds here.
M80 have also completely backed off. They have left Spoit to his fate, unfortunately.
He's trying to crawl to his teammates. He has nothing to do with it.
Unfortunately, I don't know the exact, actually I don't know the exact amount of time that the down timer lasts, but I know it does not last long enough to get over to Iconic. Foxay will leave no loose ends and will make sure that Spoit is not picked up by his team. Overall, for the first almost 2/3 of the round now, at least in terms of HP, M80 are coming away the victors. We got Dream on low health, and both teams have suffered one loss of a player. But Gomez, even though he's low HP, M80 have retained control of CCTV and still have plenty of utility in Fountain. No matter which way OXG want to take this, there is still the full setup and the full utility from M80 staring them dead in the face.
M80's also been still winning things from a positional perspective as well. Oxygen has gained very little map control coming down to these final 45 seconds. No one has been able to push past the initial east main doorway. No one's been able to move into this breach, take office control, Fountain as well, and the rest of the site too. Not even a great setup at this point to try and work themselves over towards west main and again putting pressure in from the other side. Foxay moves on a balcony, but there's still additional presence on the inside of CCTV from at least one member of M80 also here. So just far too large of a checklist, it seems, for Oxygen to realistically take care of in the next 20 seconds, but they're still going to attempt to do it. Kino with a direct swing off of the Repel Sound Q. Another one to be found from a direct push from Dream. 2 dead already. 2 more still to be found from OXG, but the case already down on the ground. A brutal shotgun down, although no kill just yet. Foxay at least trades onto that one, but Kino and Iconic now getting credit for those final 2 kills as it is locked in from M80 one more time, and so is the tie point.
Kino gets 2 kills peeking the armory wall, then rotates over to the opposite side of the armory bomb site, and then gets a 3rd by downing someone. I actually feel terrible for any person who has the misfortune of peeking Kino when he's in sight with smoke. Like, I genuinely do. I feel really bad because I'm like, you're just not winning this.
There's so much confidence on the SMG.
Remember yesterday we cast DZ M80 and 2 people tried to pinch him on server stairs and he killed one of them and almost killed the second, but Diaz only beat him to it? I mean, there's nothing you can do when that man is in sight half the time. He's going to shotgun you, and that is the beginning and end of it. We'll say good try from OXG trying to contest that early round as well, but M80 had just stocked up so many resources on the east side, and OXG remained fixated on it, that once Spoit was able to get that kill, and Dream almost lost his life taking down Spoit in turn, there was just too much time wasted for too little gain by the attack.
So, the team's tied up yet again at 4-4 now. Once more, M80 moves their way downstairs for another attempt to hold on to Vents. Oxygen, of course, breaking the rules in order to get the win on that previous site play, ignoring the upstairs clear and going directly for the plant over on the storage site instead. They will take it for themselves right there in that pocket corner. Members of M80 were none the wiser, and Oxygen immediately left the building to establish post-plant positions outside of it, meaning that the upstairs hold did not contribute to any form of successful retake for M80. They were shut down, lost it, so we're going to see how they try to avoid that circumstance this time around.
Hopefully by putting someone closer to the site this time.
Yeah, that might help a bit.
That's where I would start personally, because I will say right now, very spread out from M80, which is making me a little bit nervous. Newer's low HP though, so if OXG are going to bite into this, and you're just going to stop the entries at the doorway, perhaps M80 might still find some success. But they are playing a little bit closer to the bomb site. DS Lucas, of course, has that long angle But it is still a lot put on this roam by M80, but OXG, they are playing their game. They said, okay, we see what you're doing. Let's try to figure this out. Sweater's got that hot drone, but there are quite a bit of people stationed inside of Fountain. Hopefully he's got someone playing the trade or holding his printer window, which it does appear he does, with that alibi clone in his way. Taking control of office right now will require at least a little bit more time to destroy some of that utility and gather more intel.
Sweater still desperately hunting for that opening pick for OXG here. Just like the last round, really struggling to find any opener that'll let this team take serious map control, so they're still stuck. Once again, just like round 8, on the outskirts of East Main, trying to fight for some form of control. Where they'll find it, still have to ask ourselves that question here, as finally they get the confidence to start moving forward a little bit over towards Fountain and bleed out a bit of the presence from M80, but still, Foxy becomes the initial victim. A trade does show up this time, though, from Sweater to knock out Spoit. Keeps things even down to a 4v4 as Kino tries to start working himself into a more aggressive position to flank out prematurely the play that's coming up from Oxygen.
Got someone gambling with their life. Kino might fall. That is a C4 gone, but Iconic is just sitting inside of Armory right now, and OXG have no idea. Gomez vaulting in as well, completely distracts him, but he still can't get the kill. He's down to Dreamed, and now Dream being down has revealed Iconic's position. He's blocked off the metal bout door that's made an isolated Yaga to a 1v1, and he'll make the smart play. He'll cut his losses, but now Diaz loses health down below. M80 are likely forced to play retake at this point because of the low HP of Diaz Lucas and the lack of control up above. They'll have to wait for OXG to push before M80 can make their move.
Oxygen still trying to work their way forward over towards the hatch drop and the transition downstairs with 40 seconds left. Should be an adequate amount of time here. M80, though, still with a somewhat aggressively lean position on the back end of Showers here. Depending on where OXG attempt to put the plant down on the ground, still some capability that M80 could try and deny this outright, and will be in a great position for it. A very speedy retake. They want to have heavy emphasis on these top-down angles, though, so once again, sledge work being given priority right now for OXG. First half of the remaining 40 seconds now used up. They're coming down to the wire here to try to make this plant work. Iconic, no longer having any patience, pushes back in from the shower spot, gives the kill over to Newers. This is what OXG wanted to see. The Nitro out, unfortunately, a little bit short there to stop the actual plant from going down. Sweater will find it with 2 seconds in excess. Now leaves Diaz off on an island here. 1v3 set before him. Has potentially 2 different players peeking into this angle when he goes around the corner. The first one to his left, the next one there, deals with that one.
All right.
Has to deal with another player on the outside of the main doorway. Another one still up on top, above him as well. Nugur's ready for that challenge for up on top, but no, the unscope from Diaz at just the wrong time gives Yaga the final 1v1, and OXG the round.
2 ventilation victories for Oxygen now. M80 likely going to have to find a new secondary bomb site after 2 unfortunate failures overall. And because this is the second half, there's not a lot of a buffer to start bringing this back. They'll have to try something new now. And of course, that will logically be Bathroom and Tellers, but again, not a site they've gone just yet. So if there is a mistake and maybe a hole in the defensive strategy that they have not attempted yet, that'll give OXG map point if they're able to secure it and exploit that opening. Of course, it does appear we might be. Oh no, I saw everybody talking. It's like maybe we took a tactical timeout, but no. They're just being
Iconic spitting a lot right there.
I literally thought, I was like, damn, he's kind of going crazy right now, using that minute to effect. But no, he's just talking really fast.
Still a very close contended game, so M80 nor Oxygen necessarily feeling the need for attack pause at this point in the game. Could change soon, though, if M80 is going to try to use things at all. Maybe want to keep things rolling here if they feel that it's a close enough game, and it certainly has been. But OXG now on the precipice of that point. Could very well be our penultimate round coming up here on the 10th. Fury pick showing up for them, mainly just to change up to the soft breach. Covering both the sledge as well as the buck. Make sure they can work things appropriately over on top of the site and fend off any pesky players from M80 down below as well here. Aside from that, though, no real surprises from either team.
Now you got the castle on Bathroom Tellers, got Iconic, probably holding down the roam. Spoit on Oryx. Real shocker right there. He's got the Bailiff rotations and a T5 1.5. I kind of question M80 if they didn't put that man on Oryx. He's always such a powerful fragger on this operator and on this position on the roam. Notorious on Koi and now on M80, but it's Kino looking like he might have the first bit of action in this round. Not only 2 players outside of jail, but 1 inside of Visa. The Buck just poking, well, all right. Maybe misspeak because he died immediately. That's unfortunate. Sweater immediately dead. No more Buck for the rest of the round, and Kino can now comfortably play inside of Visa.
They still do have the sledge being picked up by Yaga here, but at least in terms of a horizontal play, going to be incredibly safe. And Yaga not even worried about second floor play right now as well. So indeed, Kino very secure over on Jail's side of the map here. Yaga trying to push himself forward. There we go. Motion detector spots him out. Yaga tries to play out this 1v1, but it's going to be dangerous with the rotates coming in. Yaga, though, just gets a free one, apparently. Iconic, not aware of the fact that he was going to be sitting below him. Dream with another pickup against Kano as he peeks back out from, I believe, his position inside of Jail. Gomez takes another fight and wins it, and M80 just fully slaying out now to find some responses. This one, it's a bit of a chaotic round now. Neither team really having control over anything at this point. Let's keep in mind, Auction still need to rotate themselves to the actual site over here by Tellers.
And Yaga made a little bit of a misstep. I think pushed in ahead of Dream and was stuck inside a passport, but by getting that kill on the Azami, moving to the rotate in the hatch, he survives for a little bit longer. That allows Dream to get into position, then they get those kills. And yet somehow M80 still got two. And what could have been OXG recovering is now M80 still in the lead nonetheless. Dream is now moved up metal stairs. There's one tucked on the radio window. Do they know that Gomez is here? Iconic almost hit a flank last round, but this time it's Gomez waiting with open arms. Spoit's taking away the attention. Gomez going for the peak, creeping ever so slowly. Down goes Dream. Match point no longer a possibility. Well, it is one, but it'll require at least one more round to go.
M80 bounce back yet again and keep this matchup as close as it can be here as we head into the 11th round. Neither team are rocking with an advantage at this point here as we are locked in that dead heat tie yet again, 5-all. There's 2 more rounds to go here. You need a definitive 2-0 streak at this point if you're wanting to close this out in regulation to gain the majority of points from that. Otherwise, overtime certainly in the cards for either one of these teams.
He's got to go OT, doesn't it? It's got to.
I would think so.
Got a back and forth game.
Attackers need to
got one site.
That would make sense.
One site that M80 can't win, but one site that M80 have won, being Armory. So, given historical precedent, if M80 are able to win this one, but then they have to go to Vents next, a site that they have struggled to defend so far. It's looking like a ripe situation for overtime between M80 and Oxygen. So if Oxygen want to at least be a little bit more confident they can close this out in regulation, this is a much-win round. Both, of course, in that they would need to win 2 rounds in a row, but also because the side after this is one that M80 have struggled to defend.
Let's see if they can find solid footing. I'm sure Oxygen is aware of these play contentions as well, so they're going to put extra effort into this round to attempt to steal away the second floor hold. Oxygen, though, struggling to take really any form of map control the last time they had to attack into this site. They'll have to look to quickly correct upon that issue, find some way to boom in to areas like CCTV and burn out these extensions from M80 so Oxygen have a foothold. Find success later on in the round and not force themselves into the site when they lose time.
Diaz taking his normal position on this armory wall, aiding Iconic inside of CCTV. And Oxygen looking for a way to counter this one as well. M80 know that likely the way they're going to win this war of attrition we've seen between M80 and Oxygen will be by gunfights. Newers might take the first advantage, knows someone is tucked inside this triple wall position. If they can get a kill early in this spot, whether it be on the window where Spoit is or on the wall where Kino is, this would still give them a very solid opening and allow them to maybe even pivot early to an East Stairs take. But those opportunities both vanish, and OXG are very much focusing on clearing Iconic out of CCTV.
Diaz and the rest of M80 continue to wait out the first bit of real aggression to come in from Oxygen. Now, some of their presence forced back a bit. Diaz has an angle now. And the nade goes on top of Diaz, tries to dash away from it, but it goes too deep. Can't escape it. With that, Oxygen going to claim the opening kill of the round now. Opens up quite a bit of real estate for them to push into as well. And that's going to send at least the one remaining member from M80 playing towards break into the corner. But oh no, some shots come in up on top of the shelving inside of the office side there. Gomez shuts down Newers because of that one and re-equalizes us back down to the 4v4.
Really great individual play right there by M80, bringing that man count back because, of course, with Diaz being taken down on the armory wall, Iconic has to pull back. But now, by rotating all the way over to break in East Stairs, he's been cut down as well. And OXG have that advantage back. Kino walks straight into 90, not even aware that CCTV was now in the control of OXG. And if the attack can just win this one and go on to Vents, the 7-5 dream for Oxygen might just still be alive.
Gomez shots out from him, but it's not going to be him that finds the next kill. It's Dream instead, as Oxygen continues to excel here and potentially will set themselves up, and indeed they will, for map and match point. Round number 11 goes to our attackers, and just one more needed now to find regulation victory, but only one chance to get it, as M80 will now have to look for the response, either on a retry of the same site or an adventure, one of the ones they have been unsuccessful so far at leveraging.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they could go to customs if they wanted to. That is technically an option. If for full transparency, they could do that. Just not really the favorite site on Border. People prefer that vent site. People prefer that teller site, and of course the armory one as well. We will finally have that tactical timeout on match point in this do or die moment. Of course, only one round that they're thinking of and talking about right now. What can we do to bolster and fix our vents defense? The plants have been very easy for OXG to get, whether they're just able to walk on in for free or able to take control of the early round and still get a plant on the floor after some finicky adjustments. I think maybe the trick for M80 might just be what they did, what we saw a little bit in the early round there. Just get in their face, maybe stop them from getting set up. OXG love their plants. What best way to stop it? Stop them from getting in the map in the first place.
Make them nervous, make them spend additional time droning things out and second-guessing themselves. That's been a successful strategy already for M80. And I definitely agree in the fact that that could be the path forward here to try and tie things up again at that 6-6 scoreline and force us into the OT situation where M80 once again is going to be primed and loaded to try and lock in for victory themselves and get still at least 2 points out from this matchup. Right now, they're unable to win this round. Coming up here, it's going to be, unfortunately, a donut for this matchup, and Oxygen's going to be taking all 3. But if they can lock in this one, get at least 1 point, assuming they are unable to follow it through and win out 8-6.
Some interesting role adjustments. Iconic, who's been on that Azami pretty much the entire defensive half, is now giving it over to Spoit, who's been more on a loose role, either playing over on the east side of the map, running around inside a fountain or office. He's now the one that might be playing in that CCTV position instead of Iconic. Of course, Dias Lucas was also very rapidly dealt with on that armory wall last time with a very well-placed frag grenade by Yager. By the way, 14 and 6 so far. Definitely a very good pickup that OXG picked back up after his original tenure all the way back in 2021. As OXG spawned almost entirely on this CCTV side of the map, we know exactly where they want to push from and what spot they want to take over from M80. And look at how they've adjusted. Instead of playing over by that circle desk, they've all pulled back to break in 90, letting OXG walk in, but hopefully being able to retake it later.
Emphasizing keeping their players alive. A little bit of a retake going on there into the inside of the square part of CCTV, but that, once again, double take into the situation still ends up leading to Oxygen taking full control of CCTV itself. Newer is getting a very advanced position all the way at the top of metal stairs here. Good work a lot from this position, but he can't be so bold as to just directly swing through beepers into the site. We'll back away from it, it would seem. Trying to rotate around the rest of the first floor, see if anything is lurking here before committing himself further. Another minute or so once his teammates are in a much more palatable position to work this metal stairs push.
M80 have made the risky play to play more of a retake for CCTV, but now they've gone even riskier. They've given it up entirely. A minute 15 seconds in, OXG are now firmly confident they control this position. Newers also can watch down below, but one's dropped down the hatch, completely unaware that Newers was over by this metal bout position. The patience pays off. Sure, Newers didn't get everything on that stairwell, but by not shooting or by not even throwing a grenade, Gomez drops down to maybe play for that vertical later, and now he's dealt with. OXG with the CCTV control and downstairs pressure, and now Iconic down on the floor or in a prime position to close this out in regulation.
Newers doing great work from below here, getting not just 1, not just 2, but 3 players. Spoit dashing up East Main, trying to make up the difference, and Dias to do the same, but he can only go for 1. Foxy's already traded him out. It's all fallen to Spoit. This EU pickup, but so far making big impact. 2 already on the round. The 1v4 clutch from him if he's able to get it. Well, right past Beepers, gives himself away dead to rights, and unfortunately it's been quite some time since that plan has gone down on the ground. So once more, Oxygen has already been able to establish incredibly strong post plants. It will be very difficult to counter back out now. Spoit forcing the issue, getting himself onto it to force his opponents into the open, but unfortunately, not even gonna flinch there. Sticks it hard, and with that, it's going to give it directly over to the OXG roster as they claim another matchup at the tail end of regulation. 7-5 to OXG.
And a heartbreaker for M80 as well. Both teams playing exceptionally well in that match, but the fact that M80 don't even get 1 point for that performance because of that regulation loss. Oh, brutal to stomach and go home with. But of course, it's still M80. They'll likely recover. And OXG also recovering after their loss to PB today. They might have lost in regulation to PB, but getting a victory over M80, who's looking to be one of the top contenders in the NAL, that's something that will still help them in the long run.
Yep, definitely not a terrible game in any sense.
No,
by
not at
M80.
all.
In fact, they get 0 points. Very
Quite good,
unfortunate, but rules are rules. Would have had to make it just a tad bit closer, bring out a little bit more of that clutch factor to at least bargain for a point or two in this game. Just not able to find it for this one. Overall, still a great week, of course, from Auction as they take quite a few victories for themselves. And that's going to leave them in a very top-ended position of the group here so far. That'll do it for the two of us for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with us, though, as we've got plenty more games and plenty more action coming up. A quick break, and we'll have your analysis ready to break this one down.